Hello. Well, it finally came to pass. The deck, all this artwork, is finally now a deck of cards. So Tarot Marseille by Patici is ready to sell. Right now, it's for sale in the U.S., but it will be for sale everywhere in the world. This video is going to be about the deck, showing some things about it, and how I went about doing it. I just set it up though, so it's only for sale right now in the United States. If you want to buy it and you're in Germany or somewhere, email me, and there'll be a link at the bottom of this video to tarotmaps.com where you can buy the deck. And if you're out of the country though, if you're out of the US, you can email me from there, and we can work out some other arrangement. Eventually it's going to be just be able to go click and buy it, no matter where you're at. But right now, if you're in the US, you can buy it from PayPal. I just included everything in the price. So tax, PayPal fee, shipping and handling. I just put it all together and made it $9. So it's $39 for the deck. You just pay the whole thing at one time. I mean, it's just, instead of adding it all up, I'm sure I can do that. But right now it's just up there as a fixed price, $39. And what I'll do is I'll be going to the bank, I'll be going to the post office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So when you buy the deck, whatever comes first from there would be when it goes out, when it ships. And you'll get a notification saying that it's shipped. And I'll keep you posted on that. So the deck is for sale. And I'm going to go over some things with the deck. It's Tarot Marseille. And I have my Creative Commons information there if you want to use the deck. And a background about me and Linda. And I also have another sheet in there, another card in there, this quick reference guide for the meanings of the cards. And then the deck. Now I used my own, the deck has a nice slide to it, which was important to me. And it's a nice card stock. And it feels good. It feels it's a nice deck. The palette that I used on this deck is different than most other Marseille decks. I wanted to go with a different palette. I think you'll like it. The deck really reads nice. I've been using it, and the colors are good. And it has a good feel to it. And when I drew these pictures, when I was making this deck, I was trying to keep that in mind as far as how is it going to read. And it reads nice. So it's a good deck. And I'm going to show you the cards here. Now, if you want to just see the cards digitally too, you can download it, the deck. On my website, tarotmaps.com, in the downloads page there. If you print it out on a printer, and you have an inkjet printer, it's not going to come out as nowhere near like the quality of the actual cards. So don't think that the cards would look the way your printer is going to show the deck. I want to show you what makes my deck unique. I wanted to make it different, but I wanted to keep the same feel of the Tarot Marseille, so it still screams Tarot Marseille at you, but it has some differences to it, and we're going to go over those. So the deck's for sale at tarotmaps.com. You go to the store and the menu, and you'll see that's the only thing there available. It's just the deck. It just shows the front of the box right now. I'll probably have some other pictures in there. I'll probably have this YouTube linked to it as well. And And that's it. So now I'm going to show you some overheads about the cards. Okay, this is the deck, and you can see the thickness is the same as a normal tarot deck. And the cards, like I said, they do slide nice. You can go right through them like this. A lot of decks now have they're using a very like a high quality sheet that makes the cards kind of stick to each other. I don't think that's a good idea. This is just a good card stock, and it's made for cards, and so it works very nicely. And you can see there's a nice slide to that deck. Standard thickness. And what I did with my palette is I changed the colors on instead of the primary blue, red, yellow, and so on. I went with colors that I thought would be more just better for now, today. And I like the palette a lot. I like the cards the way they look. You can see though, this is my drawing, my card for the card. And another thing that had to be done was the cards today are a wider card than the old traditional Marseille deck. So a lot of these cards had to be a scotch more drawn on the sides. This is standard size, which is 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 wide. The old Marseille decks were 2.5 inches wide by 4 3/4 high. So it was a little bit more. They were a little narrower than the cards now. So these are standard tarot deck today. Is this? This is a standard tarot deck. If I want to create the Marseille deck in today's card stock, either you have to stretch the card wide to fit the width, or you have to add a little bit extra to the card. It's just a little bit, so that's what I decided to do, is just add to the card. The background on the card is not paper white. It's an old parchment sheet that I ghosted down to be a background. The back of the card is a wallpaper design, actually from France in the 1700s, and I decided to go with that. What I did with the pips, the wands and the swords are on the Marseille deck. Even though they're a classic look, a lot of people get confused between those two. So I changed them just slightly, but still kept the same feel for the Marseille. And these are my wands. You can see that the floral designs in the cards are the same. The wands are just changed to a different look. But the card still looks and feels like a Marseille. I just like this better. Court cards are the same. Again, it'll add a little extra, like the horse's backside here, because the cards are a little wider now. You can see my images, or the palette I'm using, is different than a standard deck. Small little changes, like on here, the Queen of Wands, she's usually holding that club right at the end of the club here in her fist. and it doesn't look balanced enough. So I extended the range of the staff all the way to the floor. It made more sense to me. Other than that, nothing but the colors and the fact that it's my drawings makes the difference between the cards on what you would normally see. Got a nice thick border on them, and I think they look very nice. The colors are a dark olive green, an orangey red, a dirty yellow, and some sculptures of purple in there, and a dirty white. And those colors look very good. And plus I got this gray, greenish gray color in here too. That helped. Gave it a nice look. The cup's pretty much just like any other Marseille deck. These cards look nice together in a spread too. They just look very nice. The colors all blend in with each other. Now I also use my original drawings of the cards, the drawings of the cards. I didn't take these images that my drawings, and I didn't change them to. What I could have did is put them in Illustrator and outline them and go over all the lines with actual vector line work. That's usually what people do, and that creates like a coloring book effect to the art. I didn't want that. So these are my actual pencil drawings of the card. And because of that, you'll see some shading, like areas that are just because of the pencil. It's a pencil here in the color in the cup here on the page. It's a little darker. That's just the pencil. Here you can see the shading in the hair on the Queen of Swords, on the Queen of Cups, because it's pencil drawing. It's very subtle. Little changes like if you look at the right shoulder on the King of Cups in a Marseille deck, it's confusing line work in there. They didn't know what to do with it. They made some type of a mistake in there. I corrected that. And I also had to draw a little bit extra because the card's wider. So now you got his elbow in here. And if you look at a regular deck, Marseille, you won't have that. And the Two of Pentacles, instead of the information that's in that ribbon being some card company, what I did is I put 1969, which is the year I started reading, and 2019, which is the year the deck was done, and my name in here. That's 50 years I've been reading the cards, so I put that in the ribbon. The coins on the Marseille deck, a lot of the publishers did not put any numbers on them, and I didn't either. Grimmett didn't put any numbers on theirs, and some other ones didn't either. So you just never had numbers on the coins. So you just got to count the coins. There's been corrections. If you look on the back side of the horse and the Knight of Pentacles, you'll see it's way up in the air. It's drawn wrong. I redrew that, made that part of the saddle, and it looked a lot better. The swords were interesting because I never liked the way the swords looked on a standard deck, Marseille. The pips are you wouldn't know what end of the sword to pick up. They're both the same. It's a fanned out end on those. So what I did is I put a point on one end and I slimmed the fanned out area on the other. And I put these little rivets in the straps on there. The point, I think, helps. I like the way this looks. I also kept the colors red on one end, yellow on the other, instead of switching them back and forth, which is what they usually do. So they have a yellow up here and a red down here, yellow here, red there, back and forth they were going. I didn't like that, so I put all the yellows in one and reds on the other. I didn't color break these areas either in blue like a standard deck. I left them black. The court cards are some minor changes with them. You can see the hands on the Fool, a little bit different. The detail on the spoon that's lashed onto the sack, a little different. But other than that, the feel is the same. I did change this little guy down here that was ripping his pants open, but it looked too real, so I put back this little standard creature in there. I didn't want to change the look too much. Again, the slight changes. The hand and the position of the wand on the magician, the hand of him holding that card, that coin, a slightly different look. But other than that, the card's the same. I had to draw more of the table in, more of the purse here, or whatever this is on its table. I took away some of the gown here. It didn't make any sense what that was there. I didn't like that. Numbers are nice and clear, nice and big on the top. Clear title on the bottom. The Empress was an interesting card because her arm, if you look at the Empress card, her arm is huge. It's really long in order to get around that shield. And it's cut right there, so you don't really notice it. But in order for it to be at that angle, she'd have an arm that wouldn't be realistic. So I tucked that shield in a little bit and made her arm a little bit more normal. I went with Hierophant and High Priestess instead of Pope and Lady Pope, just because that's what people use today. The Lover instead of Lovers, because that was a traditional meaning. Put my initials in the emblem on the chariot, VP. Justice is number 8, and Strength is number 11, like a traditional deck. The Roman numerals are the old way. Instead of a 1X for 9, I have V and 4 I's for 9. Strength here, number 11. Death, I took the nose off of Death. I didn't like him having a nose. Skeletons don't have a nose. And he has a nose on the standard deck. Also had to draw a little bit more hip in because of the fact it's a wider card now than the old look. Small little things. The bottom of the wing on the traditional deck is missing. So I put that in there. Again, these colors worked out very nicely. I like them. You'll see a lot of the cards have a ghosted background that's fluctuates, and that's part of the background of this parchment card, that the parchment background that I use for the base. Only another layer of it. This was all done in Photoshop. So that's the deck. But you can see, you lay these cards out next to each other in a reading, they would look nice. And they do. I originally made the deck to put in my books. I wanted to put my next book, which will be coming out by the end of 2020, will have this deck in it. And in the book, they're going to be black and white, because it's the body of the book will be black and white. But as I got that far in making the cards for black and white, I thought, well, what the heck? Why might as well just continue on and make a deck? So I colored them in and worked from there. Again, the deck reads nice. It's got a nice feel. And works good. I'll throw a business card in there with my cards when I mail them out to you. Comes with these two cards, like I said, quick reference for the major and minor, Creative Commons information, background about me and Linda. The box, standard flip box, tuck box. And that's that. Comes shrink wrapped, and prices on the bottom. And that's that. I hope you like the cards. If you like the Marseilles deck, I think you will. It's a deck I've used all my life. So I really felt I knew what to put in these cards and what I wanted to change. And I thought I did it in a way that would be useful in readings. So I hope you like my version of the Tarot Marseilles. Tarot Marseilles by Patici. That's the title of this deck. It's patented and it's ready for you to buy. $39 tax tip out the door. I'll ship you when it mails. I'll ship it to you. I'll notify you. And if you're living in the United States, just go to PayPal and go to my website, tarotmaps.com. Go to the store, in the menu, and the only one thing you can buy in the store is my deck. Go to PayPal. There's a PayPal account there. If you got PayPal, you can buy it. If you don't, there'll be other options later on. But right now, that's what it is, and I'm shipping them out to you myself. And that's that. So I hope you like this. Keep throwing cards, and we'll talk soon. Bye.